Hello everyone, it's Foo here, and I'm really excited today to talk to you about potentially my favourite new Pokemon, maybe my favourite overall Pokemon because I love it so much, but I think it might become one of the most overlooked new Pokemon of this generation, which is a travesty. It's adorable and it's surprisingly powerful in battle. It's Galarian Corsola, and not Corsola. I will not be evolving my Galarian Corsola because I think it's good enough as it is. In fact, it's more than good enough. It's incredible. But I'll get more into that later. So the reasons that I think it will be so overlooked is because, one, it's really hard to get in your playthrough, and two, it's definitely going to be overlooked in battles. People will just evolve it because they think that it's better evolved. But it's so powerful and you need to be told why. So that's what this video is all about. I'll be telling you how to find it and how to use it. So where can you pick Galarian Corsola up? It's no easy feat, especially for those owners of Pokemon Sword, as it's a Shield exclusive. So Sword players, you're going to have to rely on your friend to trade it over for you. However, it's only marginally easier for Shield players. It can be found in the Giant's Mirror area of the Wild area, which is southeast from Hammerlock. But it only appears here if the weather is overcast. And even then, it's only a 5% overworld spawn. And even then, when you've got all of those conditions, it's very hidden in the grass. So you might actually just completely, literally overlook it in the grass. So that's actually quite a lot of things that have to go your way. It has to be the right weather, you have to be looking in the right place, and you actually have to be able to see it with a 5% spawn rate overworld. You can't get it through random encounters in the grass, it's only that overworld spawn. Also, it looks a little bit different in the grass. It doesn't have all of its spikes out, so it's just this weird floating pebble blob that looks so cute. Once you've found one, be careful that it's not above level 30, as it learns Curse at level 30, which means that catching it can be a little bit difficult because it's liable to KO itself with the self-damage from Curse, so bring maybe a Taunt user to stop that. That's probably the easiest way to go about that. Alternatively, Galarian Corsola can be found in max raids. I haven't been able to do this yet though. The mechanics of max raid dens are still being worked out, so I can't really go through the best way to find a Galarian Corsola in a max raid den yet, but it is possible. So why go to all of this trouble for Corsola? Well, above and beyond completing the dex, Corsola, its evolution is really cool, so you might want to use that. It's got an amazing special attack stat, it becomes really powerful offensively, and so there's definitely a reason to use that if you want a massively powerful ghost type special attacker. However, I think Galarian Corsola is really cool and actually functions very differently to Corsola. So as I said, I'm not evolving my Galarian Corsola. I like using it as it is. It's so good. It's so powerful. The reason for that is that Corsola is a very good Eviolite user. This is an item that you give for Pokemon that can evolve, and it boosts both of their defensives by 1.5 times. So Corsola has similar bulk to normal Corsola, which obviously doesn't evolve, and that thing generally was seen as a wall, like you'd invest in some of its defense and HP and it could take a lot of attacks. This thing has similar defenses. In fact, its defenses are slightly higher. It's got slightly less HP and slightly less speed, and its defenses are slightly higher, which is better because you can then boost them even further with the Eviolite. And so this thing is bulkier than normal Corsola, and it gets the Eviolite, which is insane. It becomes so hard to take down, which is fantastic. And you can combine that with an amazing move pool. So this thing is Mono Ghost, and that's a relatively good defensive typing. You've got the Strength Sap there, which is an amazing recovery move. It heals you in proportion to the opponent's HP stat, and that can give you like a full heal, because if you're up against a physical attacker, they'll have a whopping physical attack stat, and that can basically fully heal this Corsola because it's not got the highest HP stat in the world. Its defenses are much higher, so that's why it's so bulky. And at the same time, while you're healing, you drop the opponent's attack, so any further incoming attacks will do less damage. It also means subsequent heals won't heal quite as much, but usually that's not an issue because you're healing so much anyway, but you're reducing the incoming damage, which is fantastic. The other really important move here is Will-O-Wisp, because it means that you'll be doing overtime damage to the opponent, you can stall them a bit, and also reduce their incoming physical damage, which is really important. The other moves that I like using on Corsola are Whirlpool. This is great for doing even more overtime damage. You trap the opponent in as well, and that's why I think it's good in competitive, because people may underrate how bulky Corsola becomes with the Eviolite. They think that they can take it on. You trap them in with Whirlpool, and they realise too late that they're not doing enough damage, and Corsola is going to stall them out. And the last move I think is best here is Nightshade, because you've got consistent damage. It does the same amount of damage as Corsola's level, so at level 50 battles you'll always be doing 50 damage. For most Pokemon, that's going to take out any substitutes they try to set up to avoid getting Will-O-Wisps, for example, and it's just doing consistent damage. It's a really nice way to keep up your damage output, because this thing does not have amazing attacking stats. So the fact that it does get Nightshade is really, really important. Other attacks that it could have, you could go for Scald, but you've got Will-O-Wisp for burns anyway, and you don't get any stab on it. You could go for Hex, because you're using Will-O-Wisp. Once you've got the Will-O-Wisp on them, then Hex doubles in power, so that mitigates your low special attack stat, because it's still doing quite a lot of damage. But I do think that Nightshade is a bit more reliable in general, and this set is insane. It just stalls out any physical attacker. It's worth noting that Corsola is also very bulky on the special side. The only issue there is that if you're against a special attacker, your strength stat heals won't be healing as much. The big thing about this, though, is Corsola has the weak armor ability as its standard ability, which means that when you're hit by a physical attack, your defense decreases and your speed rises. The defense decrease is not really what you want. Corsola is actually by far bulky enough to take those defense drops without batting an eyelid, but still it's not ideal, and it means that you will be taking more damage over time. However, Corsola does have a hidden ability which you can get access to, which is Curse Body. When an opponent goes for a physical attack, they might get disabled, which is far better than reducing your defense. Disabling the opponent makes them even less able to cause damage to you, which is amazing. And you can get this hidden ability through the max raid battles, but again, we don't know how to control them, so it's really hard to work out how to get a Corsola that way. But that is what I'm working on currently, because once I get a Curse Body Corsola, no one is safe. This thing is going to rule. But as I said, if you go for a weak armor one, it still can work. I've got loads of footage of it just taking on opponents, and they can't do anything to it, even with like -6 defense. It just eats up hits for days, and you keep dropping their attack with the strength sap. It's hilarious. I love this thing. I love this thing's design. I love how it works in battle, and I think it's so good, and definitely will just be underrated, because everyone will look at it and think, oh, it evolves, let's evolve it into Corsola, because Corsola is automatically better. No, it's not. Corsola has no defense, and this thing is just way better at stalling stuff. It's very fun. It looks cute, and that's my favorite new Pokemon. I hope you guys like it too. I hope you're not going to overlook it. And that is going to be all for today. I'll be continuing with the Why You Should Use series next week. But thanks so much for watching. I've been foofootoo, been awesome, and hopefully see you next time. Goodbye.